Hello everybody and welcome back to Watching Walford. I'm Ash and today we're going to go through a Reddit thread of Coronation Street, and it's going to do a thread talking about what characters do you hate that other people love. This is a Coronation Street edition. Tell me if you'd like to see Eastenders, Emmerdale or Hollyoaks one and I will oblige. But I think it'll be an interesting one to do regardless. For original post says, I hate Roy. Also dislike Carla, Gary, Tyrone, Paul, and Kirk. Ken, too. Not much to go on there. I don't understand how anybody can hate Roy. I get that he's slightly weird, so it's like, some people are uncomfortable. Love Tyrone. Dislike Kirk. Dislike Paul. Dislike... Gary's okay. I love Carla. Yasmin. She seems so wooden. Terrible actor. I wish her and Stu would move away together. Do people love Yasmin? Always got the impression most people found her pretty annoying. Me personally, she was great during the domestic abuse storyline, but I think it's more down to Jeff's actor and how he was able to bring the best of those alongside him, specifically seen with Yasmin. Yes, lots of people seem to love her acting, I don't get it. I wouldn't say love, but I feel she does better when she's central to a story than she is the background of other character stories. Like, she's fairly stoic and can come off a little uncaring when somebody else has a problem. But when she got a decent story, it's quite interesting to see her deal with her own problems, though. It's her acting, though, terrible. I just never find her believable. I don't mind the Yasmin character. Obviously, her peak was the Jeff storyline. She was really good. You know, it was a really good portrayal. And it did carry Coronation Street through a pretty rough time. Especially when they were doing this storyline. As well as the Ollie Battersby storyline where Leanne was just yelling at everyone for what felt like months at a time. But yeah, I'm just gonna go through and give my take afterwards. Billy, can't stand the man. I cringe when he comes on the TV. Does anyone love Billy? What, the horny vicar? He's not the best actor, but I quite like the character. I think having a few spiritual characters make it interesting. Billy often gives a different perspective on the moral dilemmas. Next person says, I quite like him, although I'm a huge Sean fan too, so a very much minority. I dislike Billy, but if his existence makes people content, okay, smiley face. To be fair, some people like Billy and that's okay, though personally I think the introduction of the character was a mistake. After nearly a decade, I'm no closer to caring about Billy Mayhew. These two kissy face get a room. There we are. The Billy character's interesting because they tried to bring him in as a big important, like, he's a vicar with a dodgy past. He kind of followed the same trajectory that Joel did in Hollyoaks. Now, I don't remember which one was brought in first. Probably Billy. Billy Mayhew. Oh, that's the actor. No, it's not. Yeah, Billy was brought in 2014. A vicar with a dodgy past. And you know, sorry, just doing a bit of reading. Yeah, the Billy character has been around since 2014. I don't think I've really ever liked the character. He's just always that guy who gets his nose in everything, and you're just like, fuck off, Billy. Like, you know, he's supposed to do nice things, but is judgy. Like, he's supposed to be a vicar, but doesn't really fucking suggest it. Like, I don't know, man. It was just a really dodgy story. And he's never been interesting. The closest to likable he was when he was trying to help David through the rape ordeal. But I mean, fundamentally, it was just he's just not likable. He's never been likable. They've never given him an interesting storyline. He's just mid at best, always. Nick and Gemma, I feel sorry for Ben Price trying to make Nick interesting as a Herculean task. I don't agree with this. I don't think Nick's a boring character. I think that Ben Price plays him like he's 60 years old. Like, I like Nick Tilsley. I think he is interesting. And I think he could be much more interesting than he is. But ultimately, I don't know. They just write him like he's. They write him like he's fucking. They write him like he's 50 years old. When, you know, Nick Tilsley's only supposed to be like, what, early 40s or something, you know? Like, there's no edge anymore. There's no, like, 81, so you would, what, be... Oh, Jesus. Like, 42? But he now looks, acts, and New Year's Eve 1980, well, that's what, 43. So he would be 43, but he's now played by a 50-year-old man. And he's even started wearing suspenders. Like, they just don't let him do anything interesting. Even when he's a bit of a dick, it's kind of, he's just really wooden. And I don't know, man. I just would love to have there be something a bit more else. But ultimately, I don't know. It's just not that interesting, is it? I will argue. But ultimately, I don't have much else interesting to say about Nick Tilsley. It's like, he wasn't interesting when he was being a dick. Even when he was being a dick, he was kind of mid. Like, I don't even like Ben Price either. I think Ben Price is really boring. But it's probably just a writing choice, honestly. I'm sure he could do much better. Can't stand Cassie or Courtney and sometimes fast forward their scenes. I don't think many viewers love them either. I don't like Cassie. I think Cassie's really... Obviously, Cassie's supposed to be that annoying, like, fucker who you dislike, but you know that they're, like, self-defeating, so they're gonna keep fucking up. I like Courtney. Obviously, you're not supposed to like the character much, because she's obviously a work-shy, but entitled, privileged, like, brat, essentially. But a lot of my like for Courtney does come from a lot of it does come from Sinead O'Connor, of course, who was a fantastic Hollyoaks character. Not entirely sure if she's a fantastic Corrie character, but obviously they will likely, if they want to keep her, they will shave off some of that edge, and it'll get a little bit better. But yes. There we are. I don't like Tracy, self-centered, mean, and rude. I don't really agree with this. The Tracy character's been made a lot better than she used to be. Like, she's supposed to be more like Blanche, but ultimately Blanche was always a very hard character to do, because ultimately, like, she was always interesting, but she was never, like, Blanche was a bitch the entire time. But, you know, she's old. She's allowed to get away with it, right? But ultimately, you know, sometimes you'd see the really nice bits. You'd see the really, like, personable stuff. But, like, if they're that annoying that you start to love them even if they're annoying, like, that just shows how well they were played. I didn't like Stephen, but I love the recent storyline. Would have liked to see him go to jail instead of dying. No, Stephen, please. Not a fan of Bernie. Can't quite put my finger on it, but you don't enjoy Gemma scenes, although I won't say I dislike her, as other people mentioned. Bernie is a character I'm never gonna like, as she's essentially Karen Taylor, but spiritual. It's kind of, I don't know, she kind of plays the same role as Melanie Hill, where, you know, she has the dumb comedy dialogue, but ultimately just kind of farts about and doesn't do much. Like, I don't really need the poor mum who's been a terrible mum and wants to make up for it. I just dislike the character. I think she's very boring. But I'm not going to say I dislike all these characters. It's just, you need these characters to fill in the gaps to make it feel like it's lived in. But ultimately, a lot of them who you're supposed to, like, find funny or cool, I just go, nah. Oh, and Billy, I don't like him, but you do like Paul, Todd, and Summer. I like Todd despite his ropey return and his evil arc about trying to seduce Billy. Wish 2022 had spadefuls of Todd, Billy, and Paul talking together to help bury the 2021 nonsense. And I only hope now 2023 sets Todd up in an interesting direction. Hope over expectations, as usual, about our Todd. I don't know. I like Todd. I think the Todd character's been one of the most invested. And obviously it's a massive shame about Bruno Langley seemingly just being a massive, like, piece of shit. So I'm not against the recast. Because obviously he was he was cautioned. He was charged with 2 counts of sexual assault. Which is disgusting. And I don't know, it's just really fucking dodgy. So obviously, yes, Todd had to be recast into something. But I think with a recast, I don't know if it's just because he's, like, older now, but there's a lot less fun with Todd now. Like, he plays a funeral director, which obviously is supposed to be boring in the first place. But, like, now he doesn't even do anything. He doesn't even get with men. He doesn't even, like, scheme at all anymore. Like, they've just made Todd boring. And you say what you want about the previous Todd. Like, you know, Todd would, like, why did he scheme with Marcus to fuck with him? That's why. You know, like, there was a lot of grey areas with Todd. And I think they've, like, lost his character in the shuffle. And I think you could have more interesting ways to do this Todd. But I don't need to see, like, Todd, Eileen, and George as a dynamic. Like, give Todd a relationship or something. You know, have him be a lot more fun. But ultimately, he's just boring now. And he doesn't get to do anything. And I think it's a shame, because I enjoyed the scheming. It was good fun. But yeah, meh. Tracy's meant to be a watered-down version of Blanche, but the thing is, even with Blanche, she had moments. Rare, yes, when she was horrible, but then showed kindness, like when with Roy when she apologized for Tracy taking the baby back. Them turning Tracy into Blanche doesn't work, because it's a different time now. Also, she's got a young daughter who's traumatized, and an aging dad. It's not realistic she would be this self-centered. The horny vicar, the randy vicar, lovely. Fizz, I'm sorry, but when she first arrived as Roy and Faye's foster child, she annoyed me. I disliked Fizz for a long time, but I've started to let up a bit more over her and Tyrone getting back together, because I think she was written in a select way to just be annoying standard comic relief, and took her relationship for granted. So the second that her relationship was compromised, she's like, "Whoa, you fucking taken away from me." I thought that she was made interesting as a result. And I don't mind the Fizz character anymore. I just hope they give her more substance rather than her continued, like, just token comic relief like Bethel Kirk. Maria, when she was a tomboy dog washer, then fine, but not after they turned her into a bimbo. Alright, bit of chauvinistic language there. I think it's chauvinist. Chauvinist. Yeah, maybe? I don't know. Maybe not chauvinist. Oh, whatever. Misogynistic, I guess. I mean, it is kind of wild to see the trajectory that Maria followed, because obviously, yeah, she was joined in as Tyrone's love interest, she loved dogs, she was a tomboy, she didn't really do much, and then slowly through time, she became a girly girl, she became a hairdresser, she became, like, a glamorous, like, you know, kind of weird, but ultimately, you know, fair enough. Sean, he's still the same character he played in Queer as Folk and hasn't evolved in the slightest. Even with the dated bad puns, I think sometimes they wrote wanting Kenneth Williams from Sean, but all they're getting is Larry Grayson as he is today. Don't know who that is. Forgot about these. I totally disliked Leanne too. So temperamental. I hate someone like her in real life. Yeah, I mean, had Murray been a long-term tomboy would have been interesting, but yes. Probably get downvoted to hell for this, but Jack, Kevin's son, his voice is terrible and his terrible acting just gets me. I think everybody said yes. She's left, but Kelly used to get my last nerve. Really not a fan of Gary either. Aside from those, I think most characters dislike Lily Dies disliked anyways. I did used to controversially dislike Carla, but she's grown on me the past year. Mary, even before the writing with her went downhill. And when he was in it, Norris. I don't like Norris. Someone says Daisy. It's always interesting to talk about Daisy in the context, because obviously when Daisy was introduced, everybody fucking despised her. And everybody likes to act now like they actually like the character. But obviously now they don't. Actually, no. Obviously despise the Daisy character at the beginning, but like now everybody's like, oh, I fucking love Daisy. She's really good. And it's like, yeah, but you despised her the entire time. You genuinely despised Daisy for such a long period of time. And, like, it's just kind of ridiculous at how much, It's ridiculous how much the soap fandom flip-flops, because the second you introduce a character, they're just like, oh, this character's a dick. And it's like, yeah, because they've been brought in to wind you up. So then, through time, if they get under your skin, it's a lot easier to make you like someone rather than not. Because at least you're thinking about them. But if they're nondescript, they're just another random character. So, it's one of those things where, obviously, Cassie's not made to be likable. She's made to get under your skin. Courtney's not made to be likable. She's made to get under your skin. But the second they start to show a bit of, like, genuine, like, wanting to change, you go, yeah! Excuse me. So, yeah, and someone says Shona. And Shona's a weird one, because it's very weird for David to get with the mother to the kid who killed the love of his life, Kylie. And they just don't have much chemistry. They're a good, like, comedic duo. I think they play off each other nicely. But, like, they're too different to really feel like they love each other. And I don't know, like, Shona's funny, I'll give her that. I do like one of the best lines of Corey I've heard in months was when Sarah's like, oh, you know, and Stephen was microdosing Carla with LSD, and then Shona goes, for free? Like, it's a great line. And But ultimately, I don't know. It's been a very weird one. I would love to see David get a new love interest, but I feel like it would be a risk to get rid of Shona. Shona's a good character on the show, but she was only really works on the show if David's there. So, you know, I kind of sadly think that they'll just be together for the long haul. She does fit in with the Platts, of course, but I don't know. It's just maybe they just need to get to do something because she just exists and like plays a role in conversations now. And I want to see her do a little bit more than she does currently. But yeah, there we are. That's not all the thread. There's a thread in full on the Coronation Street subreddit. If you want to go and watch it, go and indulge. It will be good fun. But yes, thank you for watching. I've been Ash from Watching Walford. This has been a video discussing Who Do You Love But Others Hate? Characters edition of Coronation Street. Tell me who you think in the comment section down below. I've been Ash from Watching Walford. Make sure to carry on subscribing, liking the channel, watching the videos, commenting, engaging, doing all that stuff. But thank you, and most importantly, yeah, what do you think? Tell me in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching. I've been Ash from Watching Walford. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.